Good evening and welcome to the Night Owl Club. Thank you for watching my channel, Woman at the Well. I'm happy you're here. Glad to have you. The scripture in Matthew 22:37 teaches, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind," emphasizing devotion of intellect as well as emotion and spirit. I keep seeing this scripture about how we must love the Lord our God with all our heart, all our soul, all our mind. And I think in other scriptures it also says all of our strength. And that was actually the scripture of the day on the Bible app. That's how it all started. And then I saw it again, and then I saw it again. And I feel like God is really trying to really show me this scripture. And it's the most important commandment. And God knows this, I know this, that I struggle with my mind. And so when I read this scripture about how I'm supposed to love the Lord with all my mind, I really want to dig into that. What does that mean? Because my mind is a battlefield. My mind is not a quiet place. So how would I ever love the Lord with all my mind when my mind feels somewhat broken? When my mind feels like I can't focus? And this is the most important commandment? So it really got me thinking, and I found this on the internet, and I want to read it to us. And let me see who gets the credit for this. It is I'm really not sure. I think it reflects a couple different websites as we read this, but the scriptural basis to this means this: the primary scripture for loving God with all your mind in Matthew 22 verse 37, where Jesus instructs you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This command is echoed in Mark chapter 12 verse 30 and highlights that loving God is not only an emotional or spiritual act, it's also an intellectual one involving our thoughts, our reasoning, and our understanding. My reasonings and understandings they get very confusing. Loving God with all your mind means directing every thought, study, and imagination toward Him. It involves measuring ideas by His Word, pursuing curiosity for His glory, and surrendering plans to His will. As Paul writes, believers are called to take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. And we can read that in 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 5. And practically, this can include engaging with Scripture and biblical teaching to shape understanding and perspective. Now, this is telling us how we can help strengthen loving the Lord with all of our mind. Praying for discernment to see situations and decisions through God's wisdom. We can aligning reasoning and choices with God's principles, ensuring that intellectual pursuits honor Him. Cultivating a Christ-like mindset, as Philippians 2:5 encourages. Have the same attitude that Jesus Christ had. And ultimately, that's what it all comes down to it. And that's what helps me the most, is when I really struggle with my mind and I struggle with loving God with all my mind, when a lot of my mind is already taken up with a bunch of other crazy spinning thoughts, and it's like a hamster wheel in there sometimes. But I tell myself, okay, if I have struggled doing that, at least I can have the same attitude as Jesus and strive to do that every day. Because if you think about it, if you strive to be like Jesus every day, then everything else should all start aligning. Because if you have the character of Christ, then you're honoring the Lord with everything you do and say. And you're like it says in here, it's surrendering your plans to His will, to God's will. It's us surrendering our plans to God's will. Now, a broader context of loving our God with all of our mind is, loving God with all your mind is part of the holistic command to love God with your heart, soul, mind, and strength. It reflects a commitment to integrate faith into every aspect of life, including thought processes, decision making, and learning. This intellectual devotion complements emotional and spiritual love, creating a full, obedient relationship with God. By intentionally submitting your mind to God, you honor Him not only in actions and feelings, but also in thoughts, reasoning, and understanding, fulfilling the command to love Him completely. I hope that helped kind of explain that part in the Bible a little bit more in depth. Because if you're like me and you have a really kind of a strange relationship with your mind, meaning some days you're able to function pretty okay and other days you're just like, nope, not today, and this happens a lot with chronic illness, and this happens a lot with autism, and this happens a lot with ADHD and the neurodivergent community. This scripture speaks to me because of my struggles. And it speaks to me because of where I want to be. It speaks to me as far as what is inspiring me to be obedient to this commandment, the most important commandment. So, with that being said, all of that being said, I feel like going forward, with me struggling, and I don't know if I'm going to help anyone else out there if you were struggling, especially with this portion of scripture. It says, direct every thought, study, and imagination toward God. So when we're feeling overwhelmed, we can think of different scriptures as far as, cast your cares cast your anxieties onto the Lord because He cares about you. And it says to be in our Bible, engaging with scripture and biblical teaching to shape our understanding and perspective. So when we're having those moments, we can just we can think of scripture that is speaking to us in that moment based off of what we're going through. Because that's what I love about the Bible. The Bible talks about a lot of people and what they went through in the Bible. The Bible is filled with a lot of, true stories of people and what they went through, and it's really no different than what we go through today. And so it kind of brings you comfort to know they were just like we are. And I'm sure a lot of them had struggles with their minds. A lot of the key characters in the Bible struggled with depression. David did. Elijah did. Yeah. So, loving God with all your mind. It's an intellectual act. It's involving our thoughts, reasoning, and understanding. So next time you read this scripture and you get to the part where you read loving Him with all your mind, you can say, oh, how do I do that? Well, you direct every thought, every study, and imagination toward Him. And I know it's not easy because we're distracted. This world is full of distractions, but we can do our best every day. And I'm not saying burn ourselves out and beat ourselves up if we don't feel like we did a good enough job, because I say that because I have a tendency to do things like that. But just every day strive to be more like this, to direct your thoughts towards God. And that way you're You're honoring him with your mind. You're loving him with all your mind. And then, you love him with your heart. You love him with your soul. You love him with your strength. But the mind one is the one that tripped me up. So I had to look deeper into it. So I hope, I know I'm at 10 minutes. I'm a little bit early, but that was my message, really. I just wanted to bring that particular scripture to us because it was something that's been speaking to me. And I just wanted to look into it a little bit deeper. But wow, you guys, it's really happening. Like, we are getting our U-Haul trailer the day after tomorrow. So tomorrow I have to really go through this trailer and get rid of things we don't need. Go through the refrigerator, deal with all that. And then, yeah, come Thursday, we're going to start loading up the trailer with all of our boxes. And it's pretty much going to happen. I feel like it's, so far the plan is that we're going to be taking off here within the next week for our big move. So it's happening so fast, and I can feel my heart start to flutter sometimes when I think about it, because it is happening like speed of lightning fast. And I even had to tell my husband tonight, we need to just kind of take a breather every once in a while, because this is a lot at one time for me. And even though it's a great change, good, exciting new chapter, and I'm so grateful to God. This is just, I prayed for this, and it's happening, and I can't even tell you how blessed I feel that the Lord is, gifting us with this beautiful new beginning. I can't tell you how many times in the last 3 years I spent going to bed crying, waking up crying, just the thick of depression in this trailer. So a lot of spiritual growth in this trailer. A lot of prayer happened in this trailer. A lot of things happened in this trailer emotionally and spiritually, and just all sorts of emotions in this trailer. So it was an experience, I'll say that, but one that I probably will never do again. In fact, if I do go camping, I'm probably going to opt to go for a tent. I might just rough it and just go and pitch a tent, because I think I'm pretty much done with the travel trailers. I think I'm done with the old trailer life, even if it is just camping for the weekend. Yeah, I don't know. I feel a little suffocated in these. But anyway, yeah, it's happening, and it's exciting. And I am going to bring you along for the ride, because it's a long ride. We have to basically travel across the country. So I'll make little shorts and stuff, little videos and clips and stuff that I'll share with you all, and I'll put them up on my little, posting area. So I'll share some little, hey, maybe my husband would even hop on and say hi. We'll see. He's pretty camera shy. He acts like he's not, but when the time comes, he ducks. I'm like, yeah, I knew it. So, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed our Night Owl Club tonight. Feel free to leave comments, you guys. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. I never thought I'd hear myself say that, but I did. I said it. If you enjoyed this, or, if you want to support what I'm trying to do as far as bring the good word to the world, if you want to support that, give it a thumbs up. Do whatever you need to do. You know the drill. There's that subscribe button, there's the like button, there's the share button, all those buttons. You do with those buttons with however you will. But if you want to support me and you like this video, then show me some love. Because I'm trying to grow the community, and it's only going to get better, because like I said, I'm going to be in a better space mentally too, but physically I'll be in a better space. I'll have a room devoted just for my crafting and my videos and my sensory calming areas, out over in one corner. I mean, it's just going to be, I'm going to have this room set up so to the point where I can just walk in and immediately just feel at ease. Because that's what this room is, the goal of this room is for. It's for my autism and for me to regulate. So I have a whole room to myself now. I feel so spoiled, but so blessed and just humbled by it all. So, okay. Well, with that being said, I'll let you go. And until next time, stay prayed up, pray for somebody, and strengthen your faith by getting into your scripture, engaging with scripture. It will bring you knowledge and wisdom. And we love knowledge and wisdom. It helps us learn more about the good old Lord. So, okay, good night, you all. I love you.